After getting the morning chores done, I had barely sat down to enjoy my favorite TV serial when the doorbell rang. Who could this be at this time? I was totally taken aback to see my daughter back from her work. So early? My daughter barged into the room, threw her laptop and bag on the bed, and thundered, "I can't take it anymore, Mom. I have resigned." I'd been observing lately that my girl was dragging herself to her work. She was finding her work extremely monotonous and wearisome. But things would come to this pass that she would give up her successful, lucrative job with Fortune 500 company was beyond my comprehension. My mind went back to the time she was born to me, a bundle of pure joy. My excitement knew no bounds. At a gap of 3 years, my younger one arrived. I would look at my little girls and weave dreams around their flawless nurturing and the most organized and planned bringing up. The talk of generation gap always irked me. I was a strong believer that parents who are not organized and do not plan ahead of time bring in the generation gap. And my conviction was unshaken that with my befitting parenting styles and grooming, I'd never let it creep in between my girls and me. I'm a complete mother. Communication lines are always open between my girls and me. I'm quite sympathetic and mindful of their adolescence phase. I resolve their issues amicably, giving them the confidence and courage that they can share and discuss anything and everything with me under the sun. I'm planning my children's future ahead of time, always keeping my ears and eyes open for the most upmarket career options, the best of the line. I'm quite convinced after talking to experts that MBA in international business is the best option for my firstborn, Shirin. The university she would go to is also finalized, and the funds are already stacked away for the same. I feel on top of the world for having created such a healthy balance between my work and my family. Till one day, all hell breaks loose. The day I tell Shirin that I'd like her to enroll for the MBA International course after she finishes her graduation. She shrieked, "No, Mom, that doesn't interest me at all. I have decided what I want to do in life. I want to be an actress." I'm thunderstruck. It was a bolt out of the blue. What? An actress? No, never. Haven't you heard about the casting couch? How can I throw you to the wolves? Mom, you're really outdated. Things have changed. There is transparency all over. See, you are not even aware of the transition that has taken place in this world. I would like to follow something that meets my desire and passion. I'm not cut out for the dry and monotonous ways of the marketing world. Please understand, Mom. The generation gap. I never realized when the giant had crept in between me despite my best efforts. Yes, I was quite aware that my elder one is creative, gentle, emotional, and a dreamer, completely glamour struck for name, fame, and limelight. But I was convinced that she must pursue a career where she evolves to the latest trends and technology of the 21st century world. Shirin was upset with me for not supporting her passion, and I wouldn't let her be an emotional fool and ruin her life. Here starts the turbulence in an otherwise happy and tranquil household. The daily scuffles ensue, but luckily for me, finally my daughter gives in to my persuasive ways and emotional blackmail. She joins the university of my choice, completes her management course in international business, and finally the day of rejoicing dawns when she is offered a job in one of the leading MNCs in Kuwait as a marketing executive. Well, so far so good. Now the next step. I now begin planning a big fat Indian wedding for her. I go far and wide to choose an eligible match for her and get her married to a very charming finance guy from the finance world. My creative daughter tried to enjoy the initial presentations where she had a chance to write her own script, show her histrionics before the camera, but soon the novelty wore off as she realized that it wasn't a showbiz world, but reality of a company promoting its know-how in the fast-paced, competitive international world. As the time passed, her interest and enthusiasm waned, giving rise to boredom and disinterest. She trudged along for 10 long years till one day she could take it no more. She just snapped. On an impulse, she handed over her resignation and came home. I was shocked. Shirin, this is insane. You're due for your next promotion any day. But seeing her crestfallen face and accusing looks, I stopped in my track. I had pushed Shirin beyond her endurance. A sense of profound guilt gripped me. The realization dawned that all through all that accord and tranquility in my household was because of my daughter's adjustment with my ways. They had learned to accept and cope without any argument, since there was no question ever of any difference of opinion. I, in my endeavor to choose the best future for my daughter, in a short time available to me, being a career woman, was actually too organized for words. I was over organized. My poor girl languished for 6 long months, not knowing where to begin. Slowly and gradually, she picked up the threads of her life and started writing for the local newspapers, Kuwait Times, Arab Times, and the magazines like Bazaar. Till one day, she sat down to write a book, stringing together all the hilarious episodes she lived through during my hunt for an eligible life partner for her, and her first book, The Chicken Curry Project, was launched. Thank you. Shirin was reborn. She was full of excitement. A new energy surged through her. She felt a celebrity being interviewed by reporters and radio DJs, seeing her family and friends from all over the world holding her in awe and high esteem. Today she beams from year to year when she's told that her book would make a wonderful movie. She says, Mom, if it ever happens, I'm going to act my part in it. Oh, so her desire of being an actress is still afloat. And this time, I'll not only support her decision, but also go out of my way to see that it materializes. Meanwhile, my younger daughter got blessed with a baby girl. I decided that instead of lamenting at how I bungled up things with Shirin, I should look forward. My daughter, that's my younger daughter, and I worked out some do's for our little one. Most importantly, we needed to spend enough time with her, which is difficult for working women these days. But we realized that we didn't have to set the time aside for her. My daughter could have enough time with her even as a busy working woman. We have our meals, watch TV, do household chores, rest, unwind, go for movies, go on vacations. We all are doing these things anyways. Why not do it together? While at it, we could consciously teach, guide, and empower her in all worldly life skills, and also keep an eye on her interests, preferences, and passions. I, at a close observation, realized that my grandchild was very fond of hearing songs, and she's always busy with drawing something, drawing and coloring. So I decided I'm not going to repeat my mistake this time. So for her next birthday, she's getting a guitar and a canvas for her painting. We involve her in all age-relevant household chores. I remember whenever my daughter wanted to try their hand in something, I would shoo them away. Because I was a busy working woman and I could not think of clearing the litter and the mess. Didn't have patience for it. But I learned from my mistake. When my daughter comes to me for advice, I tell her that you should do everything. Whenever she comes to you to do anything, you must never discourage her. So my daughter and the little one bake together, clear the mess together, tidy up the house together. She's learned to keep her belongings tidily and in place, and we also encourage her to serve the guests. When the guests come over, we give her a tray. I have bought her a special tray which has fixed bowls in it, so she cannot drop it. So that fixed bowl and everything. So she goes around and when everybody takes something from it and says thank you very much, she is on top of the world. She just loves it. She feels mastering these skills is boosting her self-esteem. She is already pretty self-reliant, independent, confident, and well-rounded. And to leave no room for any confusion, we have the routine and structure in place. We have fixed time for meals, homework, sleeping and waking up, playtime, weekend activities. We also see to it that her inquiry and curiosity is satiated. My Danika, that is my granddaughter, her questions are endless. Sometimes my daughter really wants to pull her hair. She's driven crazy, but she braves the onslaught with a smiling face because we have to answer all her questions. Bedtime story is also part of the daily structure for us, as she loves stories and one can do wonders with bedtime stories. It's so much easier for her to assimilate all do's and don'ts, good and evil, respect for relationships, precautions against child abuse, and what not in the form of a story. Now, overreacting to any of her mistakes or misdemeanor is a big no-no. When we overreact, the children, we are lowering their self-esteem. We are making them underconfident. But which was a revelation to me that we also embarrass them. Once we were at a restaurant and she was holding this glass, and of course it's difficult for her because her motor skills are not all that coordinated. She just dropped it, and my daughter looked around, and my daughter felt very embarrassed that she'd done it, and she pulled her up and she said, "Danika, you have to be careful, even outside you are doing things like these." Okay, we got back to our eating, and then I see my little one with her hands on her eyes. I said, "Danika, what happened?" "Nothing." I said, "Something has happened. Like, why are you closing your eyes?" Then she removed her hands and looked all around, and then she again put her hands back to her eyes. Then I realized that something wrong was there. Why was she behaving this way? So I took her aside. I said, "What happened?" She said, "Look, Ma, when Mama pulled me up, so everybody started laughing around me." I said, "I heard nobody laughing." "No, but they were looking at me and they would laugh at me." I was shocked, but because till this stage of my life, I didn't know that children feel embarrassed also, when they are pulled up and in reaction to the overreactions by parents around them. Lastly, the most important lesson that I learned from my life and from my time with my granddaughter, that is, we should bite only as much as we can chew. That, I would put it this way, I think I bit more than I could chew. Today, workload has increased many folds. The stress is taking young lives, but for the health and bliss of our family, we need to be selective in choosing the career that suits our conditions. In today's world, our little children are more vulnerable than before. One has to be over vigilant that they don't come to any harm, that they don't fall prey to child abuse, cyberbullying, negative peer pressures. In my opinion, the presence of one of the parents is a must. My daughter, who is an auditor and safety officer with an international airlines, has taken a bold decision of switching over to working from home and going to office only as and when required. Many of our friends also have given up their lucrative corporate jobs for the sake of their children and have turned entrepreneurs. They are setting up their own ventures in league with their passions, which give them flexible hours. They feel quite ecstatic to be living their passions and desires and at the same time giving enough time to their children. There are no pangs of guilt, no compromises, just happiness and fulfillment. I feel it's a great idea, worth giving a thought. Thank you.